Any doubts? Okay. So in today's class, we'll try to understand this keyword. And after understanding this keyword, we will apply all points in the project. Okay. I'm writing a class called example with a non-static variable int x semicolon with another non-static variable. Okay, let me take string s semicolon. Okay, and now I want to initialize this x variable and string variable. How can I initialize? By using constructor. I want to initialize object at the time of object creation. If you want to initialize object at the time of object creation, I must use constructor. So I'm creating constructor. So this constructor, inside I should write logic x equal to some value 10, s equal to some value double quotes. Okay. First I want to work with this much code, and then I will slowly add line by line, and I will increase the code to make you understand better. Class test. Inside class test, I'm writing public static void main of string array args. Inside main method, I'm creating object for this example class e1 equal to new example. Topic is little tough and little logical. Please try to focus so that you can understand. So if you're not focusing, just listening, you will not understand. Okay, try to reply along with me. Okay, you have to work yourself to understand. I will only guide you what to do, how to understand. You have to pay attention and you need to understand. Now tell me. This is a main method. Inside main method stack frame, e1 variable memory created. Right? And first step completed. Second step is what? New keyword creates instance where in heap area. So this is heap area. In heap area, example class object is created. Example class object or instance, anything you can call, not a big issue. And reference is 1010. Here X variable memory create default value, S variable memory created with the default value null. Okay, now new keyword job completed. Now new keyword calling constructor. Now control is going into constructor. In Java stacks area, constructor stack frame is created. Then now try to think and tell me, in this constructor, x equal to 10, in the statement x equal to 10, this value 10 must go and store inside this, in this object x variable. 0 replace with 10. In the next line, now constructor logic should access this object. Now null replace with what value? A. Now my question is, how this constructor can access this object x variable and s variable without using reference? If you want to access variables available in the object, there should be a reference now. For example, in main method, if you want to come to x variable, you should write e1.x. If you want to come to s variable, you should write e1.s. Then only values will be reading, right? And now my question is, how without using reference here, how constructor can access? Actually, you are feeling that there is no reference, but implicitly reference is there. New keyword call this constructor by passing argument 1010. Okay, by giving current object reference 1010, it is calling. Okay, by passing 1010, it is calling. So now the 1010 is passing as an argument into this method. Then you must get a question immediately. Sir, if you want to pass argument, there should be a parameter. Constructor doesn't have parameter now. Yeah. So you are not writing explicitly parameter. Implicitly, compiler software adds one parameter inside constructor. That parameter name is this. Okay, in every constructor implicitly, one parameter is created. The parameter is what? This. Inside this, now the 1010 is stored. Okay, inside this 1010 is stored, and now this variable is pointing to this object which is created from the main method. So you remember pass by value, pass by reference concept. When you call a method by passing object reference, reference of the object will be passed, reference of the object will be passed, and that reference will be stored in the parameter variable. The original reference variable, parameter reference variable, both are pointing to same object we discussed. Similarly, when you call a constructor, new keyword call the constructor by passing currently creating new object reference. That new object reference is passed into this method and stored in the parameter. So there are two parameters are there, implicit parameter, explicit parameter. In a non-static method and a constructor, implicit parameter will be there, that is called what? This. The next, okay, now that this parameter is created reference 1010 pointing. Then now the question, how this x variable accessing from this object? Here before x reference must be there now, before yes reference must be there. Yes, that is also doing by compiler only. Compiler software at the time of compilation implicitly will place this dot x, and implicitly it will place what? This dot s. This dot x and this dot y, I mean this dot x and this dot s, implicitly compiler placing this reference. Everyone understand that? So what is the complete code of this constructor in the dot class file? Example constructor implicitly contain parameter this, and whatever the non-static variables we are accessing from the class, those non-static variables are referred by using this dot. Then tell me this dot x equal to 10 means what? 10 10 10 10 x value 10 and 20 10 10 s value enslaved with a. So what is the new point we learn? This keyword. Then tell me, what is this keyword? What is the use of this keyword? This is a reference to the current object in a constructor and in non-static method. Repeating again, this is a reference to the current object. Current object is nothing but the object using which we call constructor, or the object using which we call method is called what? A current object. This is a reference to the current object. Next, this is a parameter. of a constructor and non-static method. This is a reference to the current object. And this is a parameter of the constructor and non-static method. Next, what is the use of this keyword? This is used for referencing current object for accessing non-static variables which are available in this current object, either for reading its value or modifying its value. This is a used for accessing non-static variable. This is used for receiving current object reference and accessing non-static variables available in this object either for reading or modifying. Next, what is the compiler activity with respect to this keyword? Compiler will create this keyword as a parameter in every constructor and non-static method. And also this compiler software will add this keyword as a reference to the non-static variables, those we access inside a method, inside a constructor and inside method directly. If you access non-static variable inside a constructor or inside method directly, compiler software will add this dot, so that because parameter is there, now the argument, the tendon can be stored, current object reference can be stored and access the object. Because this dot reference is there, now JVM can access non-static variables from this object either for reading or modifying its value. Okay, and next, fifth point, what is the responsibility of the JVM? JVM is responsible for, what is the responsibility of the JVM? JVM is responsible for passing current object reference as argument to constructor, create this variable memory, store that object reference pointing to this current object. Further, execute method logic by accessing non-static variables from the same object, either for reading or modifying. Again repeating, constructor is JVM is responsible for passing current object reference as argument into this method, and then create this parameter memory, store the reference and pointing to that current object. Later, execute the method logic by accessing non-static variables from this object, either by reading its values or modifying its values. That's it. Then tell me, inside constructor, in this object, non-static variables values modified, control come back to main method. In main method, new keyword return the tendon and stored in E1 variable. Now tendon stored in E1 variable pointing. Now the question, constructor did modifications are affecting to this E1 variable? Yes, because E1 variable, this variable both are pointing to same object. The modifications we done with this keyword applying to E1 variable. Down, if you access the values, you will get constructor initialized value. System.out.println E1.x, system.out.println E1.s. Okay, so now E1.x and E1.s values I'm getting here 10 and then A. Everybody got clarity how this keyword implicitly working, how constructor can access object and initialize object. Okay, now can you please try to understand this one more time with a new object? I want you to understand one more object, create and work. Example E2 equal to new example. Then tell me, are you using the different logic for initializing object? No. Are you using the same object? No. Object is different. Okay, but constructor logic is same. Then how constructor can access the second object? Yeah, same. Second, new keyword will pass second object reference as an argument to constructor. This variable again created. 1 second. After constructor execution completed, this is a parameter. It is memory destroyed and reference is also removed. Now tell me here how it will work. First example E1, yes, sorry, example E2 executed, E2 variable memory created, E2 variable memory created. Next, now new keyword execution started. What new keyword will do? New keyword creates another new object in heap area with reference 2020 with variable X and variable S. Give me 1 minute. Right. So now object is created, x value is 0 and null. After this, new keyword is calling constructor. Okay. Now again control come to constructor. Now with what reference it will come now? Second object reference. New keyword passing 2020. Right. New keyword passing 2020. Now the 2020 will be passed. Now this keyword again created memory with what value? 2020, right? Now it is pointing to this is second object. Okay, any problem in my voice? Are getting any voice problem? Yeah, Pooja, only you have problem. Check your connection, audio connection. Earlier this keyword pointing to 10 object, same logic. Now this keyword pointing to second object. Now the same values 0 and null replace with what values? 10 and a. Okay, and then now the control is coming. After logic completed, this keyword is destroyed, reference is destroyed, control from the constructor coming back to main method. E2 variable store what reference? 2020. New keyword return reference 2020 to E2 variable, and now E2 variable pointing. Then tell me E2 variable also, with E2 variable also we are getting data same. E2 dot x value 10, E2 dot s value a. Okay now. Hope this keyword all you understand. Any doubts? Okay, now the sixth point. Will this keyword create as a parameter every time? Yes. Will this keyword placed as a reference in the logic every time? Will this keyword placed as a parameter every time? Inside constructor and inside non-static method, this keyword placed every time. But in static method, in static block, this keyword will not be placed as a parameter because static member will not execute with object. Only non-static members are executed with object. Okay, now inside non-static method and inside constructor also, compiler sometimes will not place this as a reference. For example, I am taking my own constructor with parameter like this, int, same parameter, non-static variable, same name I maintain. Is it allowed or not? Allowed. Then this concept is called variable shadowing. Already explained variable shadowing. If the class level variable name and parameter names are same, then we call it as variable shadowing. It is a variable shadowing. And tell me, in variable shadowing, do you have this parameter here? In first constructor, do we have this parameter? In second constructor, do you have this parameter? Everyone think and tell me, buddy. Explicitly not there, accepted. Implicitly there or not there? Compiler will add this parameter here. Will compiler add this as a parameter? If compiler doesn't add this parameter here, how can you receive the current object to initialize that object here? Okay, compiler always place this as a parameter, that too as a first parameter. Okay, here this is how many parameters constructor? 3 parameters constructor it is. Okay, it is a 3 parameters constructor. First parameter is this, second parameter is x, third parameter is yes. Then when you create object by using this second constructor, when you create object, example e3 equal to new example of 5 comma double quotes b I am giving. When you create object by using this second constructor, now first what happened? E1 variable memory, E3 variable memory created. Right? Then next, new keyword executed. New object is created with reference 3030. Okay, x variable and s variable. With the default value 0 and a. Sorry, 0 and null. Now new keyword, call this constructor by passing current object reference 3030 always has a first argument, and then these two values, right? 5 and double quotes B. Now control go to constructor with how many values? 3 values, 30 30, 5 and B. Okay, where 30 30 stored? In this keyword 30 30 stored. Pointing to x variable to 5, s variable with value B. Okay now? So always this parameter is there. Now what is my target of this program? I wanted to store the past arguments in this object. I want to initialize object with the past arguments. Then what logic I should write? Like a logic x equal to 10, I should write now x equal to x, s equal to s. So my imagination is left side values, left side variables are my imaginations. Left side variables are parameters, right side variables are parameters, left side variables are non-static variables. This is what my imagination. Okay, is that imagination is correct? Come on, come on. Will JVM will consider them as like that? No. Hmm? No. So when compiler software will not place this as a reference, in a first constructor, compiler placed this as a reference because compiler found x as a non-static variable, s as a non-static variable. Will not write this dot because compiler found x local, compiler found s local. In both the compiler fields, okay, both sides x and y variables are what? Parameter variables. When you develop, when you in the program, if you want to refer a variable as a non-static variable, as a programmer, you must write explicitly this dot. Okay, you must write explicitly this dot x equal to x, this dot s equal to s. You must write explicitly it. Okay, now everyone understand? If you don't write this dot, is there any compile time error? No compile time error, no runtime error. Values will not be copied into object. Okay, values are not copied into object because you have written this keyword 0 0 replaced with 5 and no, sorry 5 and B. After constructor execution completed, control return to main method. This keyword parameters, everything is destroyed. Reference is gone. Reference is gone. And now E3 variable will store with what value? 3030. And now it is pointing to this object. Hope all you people understand. This keyword related all points understand? Yeah, tell me, this is a parameter of only constructor. This is only parameter of constructor. No, it is also parameter of non-static method. I want to access non-static variables and display them on console. Okay, I am writing like this: system.out.println x and system.out.println yes. Okay, system.out.println yes, x and system.out.println yes, I have written. Now tell me, in this method, what is my target of creating this method like this? I want to display values of x and y. X and y values are belongs to one object now. Can I call this method directly like display method? Can I call directly like display method? No, you cannot. Compiler throw error. We need one object because display method implicitly accessing non-static variables directly by their name. Then I need one object reference to access x and y variable to read its value. So you must call with e1.display. You must call with e2.display, and you should call with what? e3.display. Now tell me now. In all three times, logic is the same, right? All three times logic is same, but it is executing for same object or different objects? Different object. First 10 a will come, next also will get 10 and a, because second object also contain data same, third object will get 5 b we will get. Okay, can you please explain how it is executing? Now whenever you call a non-static method by using object, now this object reference is passed as argument to display method. What is this object value? 1010. E1 reference is 1010. 1010 is passed as argument, and here this keyword display method also implicitly contain this parameter. This variable is created with what reference? 1010. Everyone understand that? And now this keyword is pointing to which object? 1010 object. Okay, then here x and y variables are just x and y. No, they're looking like x and y, but compiler software will write them as this dot x and this dot yes. Okay, this dot x and this dot yes. Then this dot x, 1010 dot x value how much? 1010 dot x value 10, 10 displayed. The next this dot x, 1010 dot s value displayed. Hope all you are getting clarity on how the program execution going on. Now the method execution completed. Control return to main method. When control return to main method, this variable is destroyed. No? This variable is destroyed. Reference to object also destroyed. Now you call e2.display method again. Then what happened? E2 reference is passed as method. Now the second time what object is passed as argument? 2020 object. And now this variable will be stored 2020. And now it is now pointing to which object? Pointing to 2020 object. Pointing to 2020 object. Then logic this dot x, 10 displayed. This dot yes, a is displayed. Then method execution completed, control return from display method to main method. This variable is destroyed. Reference to 2020 object is also destroyed. Okay, now all of you people understand that? Can you work with third object yourself? Now you call e3.display. Control again coming to display method. What reference? 3030. This keyword created with 3030. Pointing to 3030 object. Then this dot x 3030x 5. This dot to s 3030b. After method execution completed, control come back. This is destroyed. Reference to object is